Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on Canadian radio and music curator and for music curators. I'll be introducing Stephanie in just a second. She'll walk through most of the players' new functionalities and share best practices and tips using the player. Just for people who haven't joined us for a webinar before, we'll have 15-20 minutes of kind of walking through the player, and then if you have any questions or anything like that, just use the Q&A section at the bottom, and we'll try and answer as much as we can at the end. So without further ado, Stephanie, if you want to start the player tutorial there.
Thanks, Sean. And by the way, I want to mention that Sean is often handling our online chat. So if you ever have any issues, you'll see on the bottom corner here that there's always a chat mechanism. It's manned quite a lot of the time because we are global at Play MPE. So that's Sean. Anyhow, thank you for joining us today. It's exciting to be connecting with more of the Canadian community. I wanted to take the time to show you guys some of the unique features we've created at Play MPE for the Canadian broadcasting community. So without further ado, I'm going to take us right through from tip to tail. So this would be logging in. So the very first time that you would ever log into the account, you're going to want to go to player.plaympe.com. Most people will have received a welcome email at some point over the course of since January. But if you don't have access to that welcome email, just go ahead and enter player.plaympe.com. You'll come to this screen. You're going to enter your email address here. And once you hit submit, you're going to receive an email like this that tells you that you're ready to log in and to sign into your player. The way to sign in is to simply click on this button, and the system is passwordless. So there isn't actually any need to maintain a password. However, you could set up a password if you're going to be using our mobile app. It's not something that we can control on the Play MPE side. Because it's a part of the App Store. So you will have to set a password if you do download the Play MPE mobile app. It's available in the App Store, of course, and just use your email and it will actually emulate the library that we're staring at right now. So here is our player library. There are no pages. You simply scroll through your releases. And I'm just going to walk you through the functionality to ensure that you know how to download tracks versus say the entire release, how to find the metadata, where to find ISRC as well as CanCon information, and how to change some of your displays and things like this. So the Play MPE logo in the far right corner will behave as your home button, bringing you back to the top again. And going across the top of the screen, the very first button that we have is our search function. So this is a really powerful search. It actually, it operates a lot like, let's just try some Neon Dreams. Or let's just try Neon. It behaves a lot like Spotify. So it will return the larger categories. You can see the songs, artists, labels, and releases. So if you just wanted to look up Universal Music Canada, you could literally just type that in and then the label would become apparent for you here. In this case, I was looking for an artist, Neon Trees, and it shows up here under my artists section. And now we can take a look at obviously this is just a different view. We can see the releases that have come through from Neon Trees, and we can go ahead and get deeper into them. But I'm gonna go back to the main library. So that's your search function. I also have a filter here. Now the filter operates for the formats for which the song would apply. These formats are quite narrow. They're actually a little narrower than the genres that we work in, especially in Canada. So if you are going in and you're looking for something like active rock, I'm going to urge you to actually select a few more than active rock. You might want to get in here and also look at, say, mainstream rock and stuff like that. And that will ensure that if the sender only identified it as mainstream rock and maybe not active, it may not show up when you're doing that search. Okay, so I just want to bring that up as well. We're going to clear all that. And then another filter option that we have, and again, this is unique for the Canadian community. So we have under markets, a means to filter by Canadian content. So this is a really big deal. This was something that I got early on in my outreach to Canadian community. The programmers I spoke with said, I often do my meetings where I'm looking at Canadian separate from international. And I'm really excited that Play MPE jumped in and said, sure, we're going to put a filter in here so you can just search for your Canadian content separately. Okay, I'm going to clear that away as well. I'm going to continue moving along the top of the screen. This is what I refer to as our gallery view. This is the beautiful cover art that we're looking at, but there's another way to change how the releases are presented to you. Click on these stacked boxes and we get what we refer to as our list view. So in here, you can resort this by artist and title, and arrival date. It'll tell you the number of tracks within the release. So obviously if there's one song, it's generally going to just be that radio edit or the main version. But when you see multiple songs, 8, 11 is a pretty obvious. When there's 3, oftentimes at this point, that release is going to contain either a hook or a different kind of edit, maybe an intro from the artist. So that's why you'll see different volumes, different amounts of tracks within the release. And again, that's another reason I wanted to show you the difference between downloading an entire release or just a specific track. When you put your mouse over any release, it always reveals the 3 dots on the far right. So PlayMP has given you many ways to do the same thing, whether it's downloading, adding to a playlist, getting into the release information. So by clicking on the 3 dots on the far right-hand side, we have an option to download. Now this would download all 3 tracks that are part of this particular release. If I want the release information, I can get into it directly here. And if I want to add it to a playlist, I can also do that from here. So great, easy way to navigate through all of your releases. Now I'm going to click back to our cover art view. So this is the chat within the player that I mentioned earlier. So the little chat bubble, if you click on it, it'll tell you that somebody's manning the chat, and we've got somebody manning it right now. This download button. So this is not actually a manager. Within PlayMPE, there is nothing to install. In fact, I should have mentioned, once you get into your player, you're going to probably want to bookmark or favorite it for easier access. This download arrow is actually going to show you what you downloaded recently. And there's a mechanism here. If you click on the gear, you can change the format for which you're downloading. So it's just, there's 2 places where you can change the file format. This is one of them. We offer MP3 and WAV files, and a cornerstone of PlayMP's business is their audio quality. So please know that it's uncompressed audio files. And if you guys have any questions around the file formats, you can go ahead and again, initiate a chat or shoot me an email. The final icon on our far right is our profile icon. And it's important to know how to navigate within this space. The first section is our account information. If you want to update, you know, if we are not capturing all the stations that you program or your actual title today, please go ahead and edit your info. But the other thing we can do in here is we can change our language. So the PlayMP player is actually available in 19 languages. I think the key ones for us in Canada would be English and French. So in the event you are wanting to change your language, you can go ahead and do it in here. Okay, and then just all you have to do is hit save info when you've done that, and it will actually immediately apply an update to the new language that you've selected. If you have multiple email addresses, you can add them all in here and it will roll up to 1 account. So you probably don't want to have you know, email notifications going to various email addresses. So you can go ahead and manage that yourself by adding an additional email and selecting which one the main notifications should go to. By going into the player and download section, again, this is where we can change the download format yet again. And lastly, if you're logging in, you know, once we get back into moving around and traveling, or if you're at the station and you're in the studio and you're logging into a public computer, this is where you would actually log out, okay? The system is designed to be passwordless, so you never have to log in again. That first step that we did, where we went to and received we entered our email address and then received the link to launch our player, you should never have to go through that process again, okay? So if you are being asked to log in again the next time you go to player.playmp.com, please reach out to us so we can help you get past that, because this should be the easiest system you've ever used. So again, the logout is available here in the event you're on a public computer, or you're at your mom's house doing some downloading or listening to some music and you want to log out of her computer, this is where you would do it, okay? We'll go back to our releases here. And so every release has 3 icons. When you put your mouse over, you'll reveal a play button. This is a download button for, again, all of the tracks that form part of the release. And then this is how you would go into the additional metadata. The lowercase I is where the information resides. Now, as we float over the various cover art, what we'll notice is all the triangles right now have been single, but at some point we're going to hit a triangle that's a multiplier, like this one. What that means is there are multiple tracks within this release. And if I click on the cover art, I'm going to be able to get in and actually take a look at all of those individual tracks. Now, if I had downloaded from the cover art, it would have actually taken all of the tracks that are part of the release and put it into my downloads folder. Okay, so again, that's easy if you've just got the one song, but if there are multiple tracks, you may want to go ahead and go into the release. This is the first view of the release. And once you put your mouse over any of the tracks, you'll notice that more icons are revealed. We can play the song, we can flag it, we can download it on this little musical note, and it'll just download the one track and put it into your downloads folder. And of course, by clicking the plus, we can add it to a playlist. Okay. Now, there's another download option among these 4 icons above. If you're in a position where you need to download the entire release, you want the metadata, meaning you want your ISRC, you want your CanCon information, writers, everything that came with the release, you want the cover art and any attachments. If you use this download button, it will actually take the entire contents of the release, it will zip it into a file and pop it into your downloads folder. So it's not everyone who needs to retrieve the entire contents of the release. But if you're one of those people, we've made it very easy for you to go ahead and download the entire contents, again, zipped into a folder and popped into your downloads folder. From this location, we can also go ahead and flag the song, easy to retrieve later, or also to access on your mobile app. And then we have an archive feature. If you were to archive this release, it will hide it from your view. Okay, and that way, we've already dealt with it, or maybe it's not a track that's going to be helpful for me. I don't want to see this anymore. You can go ahead and archive it. And then if you ever need to retrieve those archives, you can go back in here and you can restore all, or just restore an individual track if you do find that you archived it by accident. So again, going back into the releases, I'm going to go ahead and find a CanCon release for us. All right, here we are. So here we have the braids. And when I click on this, you'll notice, by the way, I'm sorry, I should have told you, the little CanCon insignia, our little maple leaf, is on the top right. That allows you to find those releases. Oh, let's get into Jojo Mason over here. So by clicking on this release, I can see if there were individual tracks, it would highlight which ones qualify. In this case, we just have the one track. And again, we have a couple different things we can do from this view. We can queue this up to play next or play later. Okay, and that will actually just pop it into the bottom right over here, bottom left rather, and you can line songs up to just continuously play as you are in your player. We can play the song directly from here. It would start at the beginning and continue down the track list, okay? And then from the lowercase I, this is where we get into the deeper part of the release. The first view you'll have is the promotional copy. This is what would have been serviced along with the email notification. So just revisits all of the reasons why you might want to consider this track. And then beside that is the overview. This is where you're going to find your ISRC codes and your CanCon. The Canadian content MAPL system in Play MP was designed to adhere to the regulations. So music, artist, and lyrics can qualify at 0, 50, or 100%. Production or performance is actually 0 or 100%. Those are the 2 options. So you'll find all of that information here. And we also have the capability of downloading all this information as a PDF. In addition to the PDF, in addition to downloading the entire kit using this button over here, we also have an integration with Music Master. So if you're in the habit of syncing with Music Master in order to more easily ingest all the metadata, artist title information into your Music Master scheduler, we have that capability. We've had it for a long time. Malcolm Sinclair has been so gracious to also keep his door open to any additional needs you might have. But most of you probably know you just need to reach out to your actual Music Master programmer in the States, and they'll be able to facilitate. And then if anything else comes up, we step in. But please let us know if you do need any help with that integration. Okay, so that's the key features that I wanted to walk you through. The system was designed to be extremely user-friendly. Everything works. So you have multiple playlists. You can have as many playlists as you want. You can manage them, you can edit them, you can create new ones. Again, all your playlists and all your flagged tracks, as well as all of your releases, are also available on the mobile app. Okay, the search function is designed to be extremely responsive, very similar to Spotify, so it's not hard to find the content. And I'll mention at this point that content on Play MP never expires. So while we officially launched in Canada in January, we will be building more content going forward. We also ingested a certain amount of pre-release content from some of the labels. We hope to do more going forward. And this way, when it's time for you to freshen your library, or we have an anniversary or an instance with an artist and you want to go deeper into the historic catalog, we'll have all of that content. So that's been a really terrific resource that labels and recipients really appreciate around the world, because everyone's timing is different when you might need access to a release. So at this point, I'm going to see if we have any questions. And this was designed to be a very short presentation. So we're just, pardon me, Sean is just feeding me some questions on this end. So one more question was how to download just the track again. So what you'll want to do to download just a track, let's find a multiple, there we are, is you'll want to click on the release. You'll want to put your mouse over the one song that you're looking for and just click on the little musical note, the download, and it's been added into our queue. It just takes a couple of seconds to download, and then it'll show up in your downloads folder. You actually can't, yes, I knew this question would come up. Can I change where my content is downloaded? Because this is a browser-based system, the content will actually be downloaded directly into your downloads folder unless you have your system, your browser designed to send it somewhere else. So unfortunately, the answer is no, you can't specifically guide your Play MP content to go into one particular folder. It has to go into your downloads folder. Okay, and then you can just move it from there. All right, well, it looks like we've covered all of the content that I was hoping to be able to show you guys. If anybody has any questions, please do let me know. The system is available for absolutely anyone who needs to curate music across the country. So whether it's a producer, someone who's in imaging, a host, a VP, anyone who needs access, they have an account. If they haven't logged in already, they can go to player.playamp.com, try their email address. If it does come back and say they don't have an account, they can reach out to me directly. I'm at Stephanie F at playampe.com, Stephanie F at playampe.com. They could fill out the form on the website as well if they wanted to. There's a little form to fill out, and then we'll vet them and send them that link. They'll receive a welcome email to log into their player. The last thing I'm going to show you is what an email notification looks like. So here's a recent release from RPM. It's Hello Darlings. And as you scroll down the email notification, you'll eventually hit a Get It Now button. So this is the call to action. Okay, we also have our CanCon notification here. If the system recognizes that CanCon is qualified, you'll see the maple leaf appear here. But in order to get into a release, all you need to do is click on the Get It Now button. It's going to open into my player automatically and bring the release that we've selected up front for us. So that's basically the gist of the system. It's meant to be super easy to use. We have some improvements coming, some enhancements coming over the next few months. There's going to be a bit of a notification that'll allow you to see that you've got any number of new releases since you were last in the system. So that'll be nice, a little visual notifier. And if there's anything else that you guys want to see going forward, if you guys have questions, please reach out. Again, you can go ahead and initiate a chat. Or you can just email me directly. I'm happy to help, and I'm really excited to be bringing such an easy to use, elegant system to the community. It's extremely well received, and we're just gonna have more content going forward. So thanks for coming into the webinar today. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Hope everybody has a great rest of their week.